Hey y'all, today I'm in a location that probably thousands and thousands of people pass by every day and pay it no attention without realizing that it's kind of famous. There was a movie, a western filmed here in 1980 called The Long Riders. Had a star-studded cast like Dennis Quaid, David Carradine, Stacy Keach, and the list goes on and on. So today we're in Parrott, Georgia, and that's right, Parrott like the bird. So let's go take a look around. Y'all come on and go with me. Now, Parrott had a revitalization project in 1995, and some of the buildings were redone here. We got some music. I might have to get past that. Unfortunately, they got some music playing down the street here, and that's going to kind of hinder me a little bit. I don't need a copyright strike, but yeah, these are beautiful buildings. Now, as we look around, can you see why they chose Parrott as the filming location for a western? I mean, this town is straight out of a history book. I mean, this is really something. Parrott was incorporated in 1889. Originally, it was a creek settlement. It was renamed after John Lawson Parrott. He was a wealthy landowner here that donated this land for the business district of Parrott. Just look at the old tin overhang up there. Now, how many years has that been hanging there, I wonder? Yeah, I love these buildings. I hate they've got the music playing down the street there. I hope it doesn't give me a copyright infringement. But yeah, let's take a look here. We've got, I thought that was an antique. It may be an antique shop. It's a lot of stuff kind of scattered around in there. It looks more like it's a cook store with vintage finds. Yeah, that's what it is. A little bit of everything, it says. So, looking for something antique, vintage furniture, come to Parrott. But just check that out. Check that out. That I love that so much. Look at that entrance of this building. Isn't that something? If you haven't seen the movie The Long Riders, you should check it out. And then you have a reference to, you can reference this video to it and see the location in the building, kind of put the two together. Now this had to be the Parrott Hotel at one time. You look at that building, I wonder if maybe there was a saloon in the bottom, and like you see on the westerns. I don't know how realistic that is, but you know, you always had a saloon in the bottom part, and then upstairs was the boarding house or the hotel. Come on around the corner, and here is a oddly shaped building that you can tell was built to match the road and the landscape here. Look at all that. You know, when I was young, when I was in school, history was my favorite subject. It was the subject I did the best in. But as life happens, you get married, you have a family, you have to focus on making a living and providing and focus on the things you have to focus on. And a lot of times what you love and what you really enjoy kind of gets pushed to the wayside. But as I have aged and have now reached the other end of the spectrum, I find that history and the love of history keeps pulling at me and drawing me back. And that's one reason I really love places like this, is just, even if I don't know everything about it, it's just that sense of history, that feeling that it gives me, that, I don't know, it just gives me a warm feeling just to think about all of the people that were here before me, or before us, for all of us, all the stories that these buildings and these towns have. It just does something to me. Maybe not to everybody, but it does me. Now this has to be the old railroad depot, just because of the design of the building. And that truck get past. That's what I say. We have all these people that pass on this highway every day that probably pass here and never pay this any attention whatsoever. I wonder where the tracks pass through here. I wonder if it was on this road right here, or what is now a road. If these old buildings could talk, what kind of stories would they have to tell? There is no telling. It would be interesting, very interesting. And these flowers are growing, I assume, naturally out of the cracks of the sidewalks and everywhere. And the aroma is just so pleasant and nice, and just, oh, it just smells so good. But yeah, see, these, they're growing, actually growing in the sidewalks, and everywhere there's a crack and a crevice, you have flowers growing. And like I say, the smell, the aroma is just, it's awesome. A.G. Lee, 1906. So that threshold is from 1906, so I assume the building was built in 1906. And that's this historic, I guess what was, I assume, was a hotel. It's now an antique shop. Looks like they got a lot of nice stuff in there. They don't appear to be open, so we can't take a look. Yeah, there's absolutely no one downtown here in this area. There is not a soul. You can see the old portion of a store here, or building, that is, the windows and the walls still remain, but the building is long gone. This building next to it is in a bad state of disrepair as well. I thought that was some sort of design, but you know, that is actually a vine that has grown up inside of this window on the inside of the building, and is just covering the entire window. It looks like a decoration or a design, but it's actually a living vine that has just spread in front of that glass. And it's also, I don't know if y'all can see it, it's also up top. There are a couple more buildings here I want to show downtown, and there's also, you know, I got to get a church in. There's a church down the street, and there's a really nice house down here that's for sale. I think somebody lives in it, but I want to show it. What I looked at online is that the median house price here in Parrott's around $209,000. Rent is extremely low, which said around $362 a month, which is unheard of. Check out this building right here. Isn't that beautiful? Can you imagine this back in its heyday, when it was all painted, and the glass, you can see the glass up there is colored, or it has different colors to it. Can you imagine how that looked back in the day? And it appears that there used to be a building here. You got the tie-ins up there for the old, where the roof would have been. And then next door you got the Parrott Volunteer Fire Department. But again, you got these flowers that are growing out of every crack and every crevice in the sidewalk, and it just smells amazing. When I was a kid, we would pull those and suck the nectar out of them. I don't know if that was a good thing to do or not. I have no idea, but that's what we did when we were kids. This is the back of those buildings. Now, like I said, sometimes to me, the backs of buildings are just as interesting, or maybe more so, than the front. Armadillo in the road here. Looks like a young armadillo. It's just in the road. Armadillo, you had better get out of the road. And yeah, that's a very young armadillo. Check that out. That's not something you see every day, an armadillo just standing in the road. Now, this beautiful house is for sale. So that's a beautiful, beautiful old house, and it's for sale. I have no idea what they're asking for it here in Parrott. It like it needs a little attention, but still a beautiful house. I'll walk down here and take a look at this church, and then we might look at a couple more buildings, and then we will call it a day for this video. There used to be something there. There's the old foundation for it. An old tin building there. Once you kind of get off the highway there, it gets quiet back in here. Really quiet. Old tennis court here. I guess this was maybe a part of the church tennis court, but it has not maintained at all. Looks kind of bad. Yeah, I didn't realize that building was falling apart. That tin warehouse building is the roof, the tin's gone off the roof and the siding's falling down. The houses here in Parrott are really something. I mean, these houses are, you've got some additions over the years, but the woodwork and all from the original structure is still there, and it's quite beautiful. Now, this is the Parrott Baptist Church. It doesn't have, it's a little bit of an unusual style church because unlike a lot of them, it doesn't have like the bell tower, nor does it have a steeple. But it does have some massive columns at the front, and it looks like they put, I don't know if that's plexiglass or what, that they have placed over the stained glass windows, but time has really yellowed that. I believe it's plexiglass because glass would not have turned like that. So you can see it's nailed up there. I don't know if they were doing that to maybe protect the wood to keep it from rotting or what, but it really detracts from the stained glass. You can't even really see it, but you can here on the front. They still have, I guess these windows are protected from the elements because of the overhang there. The old columns have cracked with age. I don't see a cornerstone or anything with a date on this church. Let's see if it has anything on the sign. You know, if y'all enjoy this type of content, you like seeing these old towns, you like learning a little bit about places that you wouldn't normally see or places that are out of the way, I would appreciate if you consider subscribing, because it helps me and it helps motivate me as well. Every time I get a new subscriber, I get a comment or a like, it really motivates me to want to get out and do more. And I really would appreciate it if y'all would consider, you know, if you don't subscribe, leave me a comment, a nice comment. Leave me a comment and a like. It goes a long way to inspire me, so I really would appreciate it. Now that is something I have never seen in my life. Y'all know what that is? That is a tire that has been made into a wreath. Now this is the Purple Door Gallery. I assume it's an art gallery here in town. I don't know if any of this stuff is still actually open to the public. It's kind of curious. I mentioned in a previous video about there being holes drilled down here in this part of the storefront. And here I noticed that instead of holes being drilled, there's actually an opening with screen wire in it. So it's actually open. I would appreciate it if somebody, I know I could probably look it up, but I would appreciate if somebody would let me know what the purpose of that is. And again, you always have these designs in the storefronts, the doorways, I mean. You always have these designs in these older buildings. That is just oozes character. It just says, it says a lot. And I think we lack a lot of that today. It's all glass and steel, and I mean, although it's still beautiful in its own way, it's just there's a lot of the sameness about things. At least with these, even though you had the designs on the door entrances and the entranceways here, even though all of them have them, they are not identical. They all have their own design, their own style, and it just kind of stands out. Now this old sidewalk has seen footsteps, or had footsteps for well over 100 years. People have walked on these same pavers, on these same stones from over 100 years ago. And to me, that just, I don't know, that just, I'm walking in the same steps, looking at the same storefronts, the same building fronts that somebody did 100, 120, 130 years ago. Again, all the beautiful flowers. And forgive me for not, are they tulips? Is that what they're called? I don't know. I can't think. But I know you can't smell them in the video. But, and I keep saying it over and over, but the aroma is just, it just hits you. It's just, it's really something. And I love it. I really do. It just adds, it adds to the character of this town. Dr. J.T. Arnold. So this had to be, at one time, I would think, since it has a threshold on both sides of Dr. J.T. Arnold, this probably was the local doctor's office in the town. And that's probably, I know that's probably not the original where the shingle was. It could be, but there was a shingle hanging there at one time. Let's take a step back and take a look at this building here. If you haven't seen the movie The Long Riders, I suggest you go and look it up, take a look at it, and just think about Parrott, Georgia when you watch it, and see the difference in the way they portrayed it and how the actual town looks today in 2026. But yeah, I really appreciate y'all coming along with me today. I've enjoyed making this video. I enjoyed walking through Parrott, something like I said, I've never done before. I've driven through here, driven by it, But I really appreciate y'all coming along with me today. And if you enjoyed it, if you got something out of it, give me a like, a comment, and I would appreciate it if you would consider subscribing. But until next time, I'm Red, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and y'all have an amazing day. See you next time.